Hello and welcome to our third Teacher PD session co-presented by the Human Rights Arts and Film Festival and ACME. My name is Kate Fouquet, I'm a screen educator and I work with both organisations. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we sit today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'm very pleased to introduce to you today our special guest, celebrated author, writer and poet, Boori Monty Pryor. Boori, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
This week's lesson plan focuses on Indigenous rights and is tailored to years 5 to 8 and 9 to 10. The lesson includes the award-winning film Brown Paper Bag, as well as activities and questions that support students to begin to understand that Indigenous people all share rights. Rights are universal. Aboriginal persons also hold distinct cultural rights. Cultural rights promote broader community understanding and that storytelling is a powerful part of expressing Indigenous cultural rights. The Victorian Charter of Human Rights and Responsibilities sets out Aboriginal cultural rights as distinctly needing protection and promotion. The story in the film today connects with a number of Aboriginal cultural rights, including the right to enjoy their identity and culture, maintain and use their language, maintain their distinctive spiritual relationship with the land, waters and other resources with which they've had connection under traditional laws and customs. So let's take a quick look at the film that Boori and John Staley from YouthWorks co-wrote, Brown Paper Bag.
Oh, Anne, Boori Pryor.
Hello, how are you?
Just before you start, I've got to get somebody out of timeout.
Sure.
Gotcha. Let's go.
Jaden, come with me.
Where are we going?
We're going to see a writer.
No, thanks.
He's a storyteller.
No, I'm right, sir.
He's a black fella.
I'm coming.
Hey, you go sit in there. Right.
Hello, everyone. Oh, that was terrible. Try it again. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Monty.
And my Aboriginal name is Boori. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Boori.
And sometimes people call me beautiful. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Big.
Everybody put your hands in the air, shake them around like that, shake them. Give us a big hug and go, Put your hands together, shake them around. Turn to someone sitting next to you and give them a big hug. Put your hands up if you love listening to stories. Yay. Put your hand down. Put your hand up if you love getting into trouble. Yeah. Put your hand if you love picking your nose. Yeah.
The film tells the story of a young boy, Jaden, who discovers the world of reading with the help of a cheeky principal and the inspiring storyteller, Boori Monty Pryor. The story was based on one of your experiences. Can you tell us why you and John chose to turn this story into a short film?
John and I have been mates since he was teaching at Northlands, and we became really good friends. And I kept telling this story about this school I went to where this big principal, he was a big man, he had a Jag and he had 10 kids, and he was like, picked me up and hugged me, hello, Boori, and put my back in, put me down. And so then he said, hold on a second. He went over and, like in the movie, he went over and got this boy out of timeout, and he'd come back, and I seen this little black fella come back with him and sit down at the back there. And I told the story, and he was laughing. And then 2 months later, the principal gives me a ring, and he was telling me the story about that he went to get him, and he said, come on, you're coming with me. He said, well, oh, where we going? We got a writer. No, I don't want to go. We got a storyteller. No, he's a black fella. Okay, I'm coming. So he comes and sits, and then when he goes back, he said, that's a deadly story. He said, can I get the book? He said, yeah, it's in the library. He said, no, I don't want to go in there. So the principal, instead of being like, don't be silly, get in there, he played the game. He said, wait over there. And he comes back in a brown paper bag. And the connotations of a brown paper bag is like drugs, alcohol, bad lunch, all that stuff. So he's got it wrapped up, and he said, yeah, give us a nod and a wink when you finish. So the boy ends up reading like 4 books.
Bare feet on bare wood, Then the padding down the hallway, alive like a frog, not dead feet dragging, like the sound. Shh, creak, shh, creak.
Dinner's ready. You doing your homework?
Nah,
What you doing?
nothing. I'll be there in a minute.
Lights out, boy. Night.
What, Mum?
In the end, this is real life. The story of this actually happened. That the mother ran into the principal and said, "What have you been doing?" And the principal says to the mum, he wouldn't want to come to the library. And the mum says, it's probably my fault. And he said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I've always told him that library's only for white people." So I think that was like really powerful. That is the truth.
I'd like to talk a little bit about why you think the mum might have said that libraries are for white people.
Well, it's true because if you check back to when, again, all the time when he got the right to vote, and then all of the things that has happened since then, the Aboriginal culture has really been there as a garnish rather than a set, in the set menu. It's been on the side dish all the time, and it's only been used when we want to purport to the world that we're a great place and we have the oldest culture in the world. I think Australia is the only country in the world that sells off its Indigenous rights and stories, and to say we're great and not look after its souvenirs and not look after its people.
The people.
But make profit from that and profit from that. So I think that the truth in the story, that it's the truth, and the only way we are getting Aboriginal culture into the schools is really from the ground up, from the preschools, from example. I was at this school the other day, and I gave a talk to the teachers, and they did the 7 seasons for the Wurundjeri, and they had it all up on so the kids could see. Then they had the 4 seasons for whitefellas, and they had all that up, and it was like just from one talk.
Yeah.
So
Starting to look at things with a different lens.
and that's what we need, face to face.
So in the film, you tell the students that stories keep us together forever. So why is it important for all kids and adults, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to hear these stories? Well,
I've got this story about a little bird for the little ones, and I actually did this for the university. I did the University of Queensland. I did the same story that I did with the preschool, right? And there's no difference, right? From 4 or 5-year-olds to 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds. I got them to close their eyes and pretend that they were 5. And a lot of them found it hard. But it was like, we did the story, and then I said to them that I'm going to give you this story to keep in your hearts forever, right? And then at the end of the story, this one lady had this voice of like ownership, and she goes, "So that means I can keep this story?" "Yeah, yes. And it's my, yes, forever, yes. That means I can tell it to whoever I want." I said, "Yes, but the story is inside you now, and you belong to the story. And the story will tell you if it's okay to tell it to another person." She went, "Oh."
Big responsibility.
I know. She had a little
Hopefully she
sob.
carries it well. Does she?
Yes. So just from that speaking voice of ownership, which is what I was talking about before, and the kids get it straight away. They go, oh, this is
Precious.
precious.
Yeah.
And they rely on it to feed them, not you to feed it. All right. So herein lies the difference. That's why I'm still alive, because of these little ones, because they always give you medicine every day, every single day.
So only 36% of Indigenous Year 5 students in very remote areas are at or above the national reading standards, compared to 96% for non-Indigenous students in major cities. That's according to NAPLAN 2018. Some reasons include low literacy of the parents, generational mistrust, poor school attendance. In the film, Jaden seems to be disinterested in school and getting into trouble fairly regularly. So can you talk a little bit about kids' disengagement with school in your experience?
All the things that followed me when I was a child. I had a great English teacher and a great maths teacher. Just about all the teachers were great except one or two.
That's a good ratio.
And what I loved about it is that my English teacher, the older ones, I loved telling the story because he was really tall and he had hairy legs. And the hair was that thick all over his body.
Yeah,
you did not know whether he was born or knitted. And even though he was hairy, he was suave, sophisticated, debonair, elegant, a bit like James Bond with lots of hair. So we called him, his nickname was 00 Hairy.
Oh.
That was his name. And he loved it. But he was the one, he had patience. He loved Shakespeare and he got me to love words. And without him, I wouldn't be writing. So, and it was really funny because he used to keep us in all the time because I was an idiot. And and I would always swear at him under my breath, of course. And I'd go, bastard keeping me in. But I didn't realise that he never swore at me once. And I was keeping him in. So that's what empowered me even more. I said, this man gave up his time to actually help me
Put you
write.
on the right trail.
So we all have one or two of those people in our life. So I think that's kind of, when I was at school, I was lucky to have that. Plus mum and dad were really good writers.
Tell us what Shake a Leg is.
Shake a Leg is another book. It won the Prime Minister's Literary Award. Yes. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I had the idea. Then I went and saw a Tarantino movie. And he had colour, black and white, slow-mo cartoons. And I'm going, cool. So I'm going to put a black fella in a pizza shop.
Yeah. Wow.
And he's going to speak Italian, So I did all that and we wrote the story and it was really cool, you know. And the whole point about that was he went to Italy, the point in the second page is if you want to know how to make the best sauce, you must go to the source, right? So he's there with the family in Italy for 2 to 3 years. So, and he's got this big bowl of soup that that he's making. So what do we have to do in this country?
What do we
to know about our country is go to the source. Black fellas. So it's kind of in the first 2 pages.
Okay, nice.
So it's all subliminal. So it's so that's all in the book, and we use that book to teach, right? Through dancing, singing, painting, making pizzas, and it works really well. So that's one aspect of teaching that I've talked about that movement all the time.
Yeah.
See, what we do is we only allocate stuff for this many people, whereas kids who don't like to write and kids, they fall off the edge. So what this does is,
includes
come
everyone.
here. I don't care. I don't give a stuff. You're going to do this together. And because everyone's doing it, then no one, actually, there's no out. It's like if you're on a boat in the ocean, you can't get out and walk home. You got to row, So it's like everybody's got to row. So that's how it works. And they write. Kids love writing. Kids who haven't written anything write 2 pages.
There's a hairy man up there, up at Yari. The Binna man. That's what they call that Inji, that spirit. That's where we're going now, Yari. Minglu fellas, white fellas call Yari a reserve, or mission, or something. We just call it our place.
So Boori, you're a writer, poet and a performer. Can you tell us how you express culture through your life and work?
Well, it's my way of making medicine.
Healing
Because
people.
when we talk, great things happen. When we listen, even better things happen. So I think that's more or less the gift that we give each other, is that the outcome of just doing that.
Boori, you're an Emmy-nominated writer.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very exciting for Wrong Kind of Black. Can you tell us how your work in storytelling, I guess, helps you to promote cultural rights and cultural exchange?
Simplicity. A lot of things that happen, right, in the books and the movies is not about me wanting to write or do anything. It's about events making me or wanting me to write them. But I have to be at the place and time for it to happen. So in other words, if I don't do the work, then it doesn't want me to write it. Can you understand that? Because I think that I didn't go to write the script for a brown paper bag or Wrong Kind of Black. The events in life that you work towards making yourself better get you to write it. If you sit on your butt and cry and whinge and blame everyone, you're not going to write anything. Or whatever you write then sucks. Sharing, more so than wanting to make things better, which is I wanted to make myself better. So I think that was more to the point that I wanted to be a better person. So in that search for that, that search was the thing that got me to write these things. It's really weird, sounds really hippie and stuff like that, but...
No, but it sounds like it was a healing process as well.
Yeah, so it's like we share and we make each other better. And with this, what this country does not do, and I see that happen every day when I work with the kids.
Yeah. I bet kids have a very strong positive response to your type of storytelling.
They do, and because when I do tell stories, but I tell the kids, I say, I'm going to give you this story today. And there's like quiet and a little moment, whoa. And a little voice goes, so to keep forever? And I go, yep. Inside, yep. Whoa. So that's the kind of response,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that, and then so what happens then is that I give this story to them, 20, 30,000-year-old story, and that's theirs forever. So what the powers to be do is they separate us and say, no, blacks are here, whites are here. We need you to keep fighting because then we can control you both. So what I do is I backdoor them and I go, no, I'm going to give it to you. They go, yes.
Yeah.
So then that actually has that child stand up taller and it makes me stand taller and I write better things.
Beautiful.
It's pretty simple, you know, in that format of just do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of truth in that. So, Boori, 2019 is the year of Indigenous languages. Can you tell us how do you think teachers within the classroom should or could explore Indigenous languages with their kids?
Start with local, which is really important, and understand the, as much as they can, the inferences and aspect of language to land.
All right. Well, look, thank you so much, Boori, for sharing your passion and your knowledge with us. And I'd also like to thank John Starley and YouthWorks for allowing us to use their film, your film, Brown Paper Bag. John couldn't be with us today, but we'll go out with a closing clip of John talking about the importance of Indigenous cultural rights and the role we all play in protecting them.
I think sometimes people kind of underestimate the impact of the context and the history here, and the fact that in a way the 200 years of I guess colonisation is still a very short time ago, really. And I think as I guess white Australia sometimes wants people to get on with it and get on with the now, but what they don't understand is that, you know, when people in a culture have been stripped of just about everything, and we're talking about the oldest living culture in the world, mind you, the impact and ramifications do become generational. And in a way, it's this boy now has the opportunity to start changing that. Boori's books are in libraries. Other Indigenous authors are in libraries. In the 1960s, that wasn't the case. And I think it's so important that we, as a people, sort of become part of, one, listening to those stories and sharing them, but also collaborating, and also working together, and also coming to those shared understandings. Indigenous Australians need to see that there is their stories, and that those stories are in the library, that they are represented, you know, in mainstream context. I think Indigenous kind of communities all over Australia, you know, are now in the process of almost reclaiming and rebuilding their culture. And Boori's at the forefront of that.
And that's something that now becomes a gift for the rest of Australia.
Boori, thank you. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully we'll get another opportunity at another time, but thanks for your time.
Thank you for listening. Because I was out of school one time in Sydney, and I was all painted up, and I had my little red thing on, and we were doing dancing because we were doing a weekend residence, and I said, we're going to do, this is lunchtime, we're going to do mosquito dance. I need the branches, and all the kids were over this side, and I ran around this side to school, and I'm kneeling up on the fence, breaking off a couple of branches, and I hear these little voices, and the little prep ones are there, and they're eating their lunch, and the little girl goes to the boy, what's he doing? The little boy finishes eating and goes, shh, he's getting his lunch. So I'll go, shh, go away, you know, they're scaring away the possums, you know. Yeah. So it's like so cool. Yeah, so off they go, you know, back to play.